Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Movesets video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the new Pokemon Tapu Lele. So let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Tapu Lele is a new Psychic Fairy type Pokemon introduced into Pokemon Sun and Moon, and is in possession of the new ability known as Psychic Surge, which activates a psychic terrain on the battlefield once this Pokemon enters, making it so that grounded Pokemon are not affected by priority attacks, and so that the power of Psychic type moves are increased by 50%. But additionally, this Pokemon also gets the Telepathy ability as its hidden ability, which will prevent it from being damaged by its teammates' attacks in a double battle. But for its stats, this Pokemon has a base 70 HP stat, 75 defense stat, and 115 special defense, essentially allowing it to be a very effective special wall if you would like to run it as such. But offensively, this Pokemon has a pretty okay base 85 physical attack, but more importantly, has a base 130 special attack, making this Pokemon insanely powerful from the special side, especially when using a Psychic type attack due to the Psychic terrain that it will be activating due to its ability, boosting the power of its Psychic type moves. But lastly, this Pokemon has a base 95 speed stat, which is pretty awesome in and of itself, though it won't be one of the fastest things on the battlefield, but it will definitely be able to have enough speed to get the job done in outspeeding the majority of attackers on your opponent's team. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving Tapu Lele a timid nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a modest nature to boost its special attack but lower its physical attack. And then we're going to give it an EV spread of 4 defense EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and then 252 speed EVs to give it its maximum special attack and speed possible. As for the item, we have a few choices here, the first being a Choice Specs to boost your special attack while locking you into a move, a Choice Scarf to boost your speed while locking you into a move, a Life Orb to boost your attack power while not locking you into a move, but at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to increase the damage of super effective attacks, a Mind Plate to work in combination with your really powerful Psychic type attacks that are also going to be boosted by the Psychic terrain to just allow you to do ridiculous amounts of damage with all of them, an Assault Vest to increase your special defense, Leftovers to allow you to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, and a Z Crystal that corresponds to one of the types of attacks on this set to give you a one-time use of a super powerful move. But for the moves on the set, the first thing that we're going to go with is going to be either Psychic or Psyshock to be our main stab Psychic type move. Psychic hitting the special defense of your opponent and being a little bit of a stronger move, whereas Psyshock is a little bit weaker but hits the physical defense of your opponent. And then we're also going to run Moonblast to be your main stab Fairy type attack. For coverage, we're then going to include Thunderbolt and Focus Blast to give you a powerful Electric type attack or powerful Fighting type attack to make use of, to allow this Pokemon to deal with a number of its potential counters. And then for the last move slot, either run Focus Blast here to give you all of that coverage, or run Psyshock in this last move slot to give you both Psychic and Psyshock, essentially allowing you to hit extremely hard with both of these Psychic moves on the physical or special defensive side of your opponent, depending on what you're up against. We could also additionally run Hidden Power Fire to allow this Pokemon a little bit of an easier time dealing with some steel types that aren't going to be too affected by Focus Blast, and obviously not having to worry about the accuracy of Focus Blast. Or lastly, giving this Pokemon Charge Beam as an option to allow it to not only damage its opponents with a decently powerful electric move, but also have a high chance to boost your special attack by 1 stage, thus turning this Pokemon into a very potent offensive threat with its powerful special attacks. Now, while Charge Beam can be used to boost your special attack, there are also a few other reliable ways to boost this Pokemon's stats, and we're going to try to take advantage of that in this particular set. So again, we're going to go with a fully specially offensive EV spread with 4 defense EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and 252 speed EVs, and then again choosing between the timid or modest nature if you want more speed or want more special attack. But for the item on this set, we're going to include Leftovers as a way to recover HP at the end of every turn, a Life Orb to again boost your damage while losing 10% of your health and recoil every time you damage your opponent, or making use of Psychium Z or Furium Z on the set to acquire a couple stat boosts. But for the moves, the first main stat boosting move that we're going to have access to is going to be Calm Mind, which allows this Pokemon to boost its special attack and its special defense by 1 stage, allowing it to become increasingly bulky on the special side and also increasingly more powerful. Additionally though, there are two other options that we can go with to allow this Pokemon to boost its speed. The first being Skill Swap and the second being Sunny Day. Skill Swap, when used with Psyche MZ, will obviously increase your speed stat, as just mentioned before, and it also works really well in possibly passing off your Psychic Surge ability to another member of your opponent's team for the time being. And the great thing about this is when you bring this Pokemon in, the Psychic Surge activates. So skill swapping after them, you're not really losing that because it's already on the battlefield. So you can actually get the advantage of an opponent's ability this way while simultaneously boosting your speed. Whereas the other route, going with Sunny Day, will allow you to put Sun on the battlefield while you boost your speed stat. But again, Psychic and Psyshock are going to be your main Psychic type options, and then running Moonblast or Draining Kiss will be there to allow you to have a nice, powerful Fairy type attack, Moonblast being the more powerful option, but Draining Kiss obviously being the option that can recover health, which can allow this set to last a little bit longer on the battlefield with your boosted special attack or speed. And then for the last move slot, running either Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, or Hidden Power Fire, again, for additional coverage to allow this Pokemon to hit a number of things super effectively and deal with a number of potential counters that would be able to deal with its Psychic and Fairy type attacks. Before a more bulky boosting set, we can run this one, which again makes use of Calm Mind to boost your special attack and your special defense, but functions a lot more differently. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Bold Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack, and then run a physically bulky EV spread of 252 HP EVs, 252 defense EVs, and 4 speed EVs. As to the item, this time we're going to go with Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn, or Grassy MZ to be used in combination with one move on the set, potentially if you would like to go that route. But for the moves, again, Calm Mind will be your boosting move of choice, and then Psychic and Psyshock will be your Psychic moves of choice, depending on whether you want to hit your opponent's special defensive side or their physical defensive side. And then Moonblast and Draining Kiss here will again be your main stab fairy options. Draining Kiss potentially being the stronger option on this particular set because we're going to be quite a bit more bulkier, basically allowing this Pokemon to effectively make use of the recovery that you do get from Draining Kiss, even though it is a weaker option when compared to Moonblast. But lastly, we can either go with Substitute to allow this Pokemon to get behind a protective barrier that shields it from attacks and statuses while it attempts to set up, or go with Aromatherapy to allow this Pokemon to heal off any statuses it might have been received. Now, also keeping in mind that Grassy MZ, when combined with Aromatherapy, not only will get rid of a status, but will also heal you, which can be very useful on a set like this because it allows this Pokemon to kind of have a twofold utility option in the last move slot. However, Substitute, as mentioned before, will still work the same way it normally does by becoming increasingly more difficult to break the more boosts you acquire with Calm Mind, and then obviously making Tapu Lele more threatening with its powerful boosted special attack stat. As to this last moveset, we're going to be making Tapu Lele a little bit more of a supportive Pokemon to make use of on this team. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Bold Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack, and then going with a defensive EV spread that includes giving it 224 HP EVs, 236 physical defense EVs, and then putting the remainder 48 EVs into its speed stat to make this Pokemon quite a bit faster and then capable of outspeeding base 100 speed Pokemon that would be wanting to make use of some non-attacking moves like Jirachi or Mew, among others. But for the item on the set, we're going to run Leftovers as a way to allow this Pokemon to recover HP at the end of every turn, or make use of the Terrain Extender item to allow this Pokemon's Psychic Surge, causing the Psychic Terrain effect to last 8 turns instead of the usual 5, to help prevent its team from taking priority damage for a longer period of time, and also powering up the Psychic type moves of maybe another member of your team. But for the first move on this set, we're going to be making use of Taunt to allow this Pokemon to taunt its opponents and make it so that they cannot use any non-attacking moves, which could be essential for either shutting down your opponent's ability to set up hazards, cause status to this Pokemon and its teammates, or recover off health that they might have lost as a result of battle. But again, we're going to be going with our tried and true Psychic type options of Psychic and Psyshock to be your main Psychic type stab, and then again including Moonblast and Draining Kiss to be your main Fairy type stab on this set. Draining Kiss again being useful for allowing this Pokemon to recover a lot of HP back and continue to support its team for a longer period of time if you choose to do so. But for the last option, again, Aromatherapy is going to be an option here to allow Tapu Lele to heal off its status, as well as any statuses its teammates have received over time, which is going to be essential for allowing you to keep your team healthy and be unaffected by burns or paralysis or anything else that your team might have got that you really don't want, or making use of Nature's Madness in this last move slot to give this Pokemon a way to just easily have its opponent's HP and then allow something else on your team to possibly take it out after their HP has been reduced considerably. But all of these different options allow this Pokemon to be quite a bit more bulky, as well as allow it to effectively support its team for a long period of time and even survive for a while as well. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this particular video on Tapu Lele. So thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.